Jon Barron is one of the most seasoned boat captains and dive instructors on the Ocean Frontiers staff, as well as an avid in-the-water photographer and shark enthusiast. We sat down with Jon to get to know him and hear his story.
I'm actually from a very small town in the southwest of the UK in Cornwall called Penzance, which is the famous play, The Pirates of Penzance in Pretty Woman. I'm actually from Penzance. It's a real place, lovely. It's home.
How did you get into diving?
I was fed up with home. So I left the UK in 2010 and pretty much did the zero to hero thing in Thailand. I spent a few years in there on and off, becoming an instructor, did all my staff instructor, plenty of specialities. If I pretty much wasn't teaching, then I was actually being taught. So I put a lot into the amount of education I got in diving. I left Thailand, back to the UK for a little bit. I then went and worked a season in Cyprus in a place called Viking Divers, diving a big wreck called the Zenobia for a summer. Once the summer was over and done with, I went back to the UK and then had the luxury to go down to Honduras for a year down to Utila, which is where I did all my master instructor, technical instructor, plenty of other specialities, and pretty much furthered my education as much as I pretty much could. I left Utila, went back to the UK for a little bit, and then pretty much just started applying for jobs. And it was a toss-up between Indonesia and here. So I chose here, and I was just like, I'll just do a year, it'll be fine. I'll do Indonesia next year. And that was 8.5 years ago. So I pretty much got stuck into it here, really enjoy it. It's a good place to be.
You dabble in underwater photography, is that correct? So when did you start doing photography and what do you like to shoot?
Well, I actually started off with a little sea life camera. That's pretty much what I had when I got here, and that was the photography thing. And then you kind of have, then I got to see some of the bigger rigs that turn up and what people come with. And someone here was actually selling their old rig, and I managed to snap it up off them, which is kind of one of the bigger aluminium housings, one of the big things. And it was like, okay, if I enjoy this, I'll kind of invest a bit of money into it. And obviously, yeah, I did enjoy it. So then I bought another camera, and another camera's on the way. Yeah, the photography side kind of keeps your eye keen for everything on the reef. I don't just spend most of my time diving around the reef going, look at that, look at that. I'm like, that'll make a nice picture. That'll make a nice picture. So it kind of, that's the kind of the way that I see things, is I see it through a photographer's eye rather than just the plane of like, what you see is what you get sort of thing.
Do you have a favorite subject to shoot?
Of course. It's always going to be the sharks. And I've pretty much 8 years of diving the corner and jacks to the point that it'll get me in trouble every once in a while because I'll do it over and over and over again. It never gets old. And to the point that when I first started here, the first shark I ever saw was pretty much scarlet. And it was the first time I'd ever dived with sharks in the ocean, kind of loved it. And over the past 8 years, I've managed to pretty much identify 7 or 8 resident sharks that will hang out off Jack McKenney's canyons now. And pretty much including everyone in the naming of the sharks and being able to see them means that everyone gets to enjoy that side of it. And it's pretty much the only place in the Cayman Islands where you're pretty much guaranteed to see the same sharks over and over and over again, which is pretty cool because when you come out, people kind of relate to it more when they're like, oh, that's Scarlet, that's Gilly, that's Vicky, rather than that's a Caribbean reef, that's a Caribbean reef. So once people start to identify it, they enjoy the fun factor along with that.